Welcome to our opening bell. It's a Friday, the 28th of January. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show. And of course, we just keep moving on. The new month of the new year, so just wrapping up in just the next few days. Back next week, we'll just be looking at the end of the month. But very quickly, Thursday's trading day was a little bit gentle upside, 0.02% for the Nigerian market. The Egyptian stock market finished Thursday, which is the last trading day of the week, about 0.5% in the green, 16,065. The Nairobi stock market had a very big jump, 2.37%. That's the NSE All Share Index. The NSE 20 also moved up yesterday, as well as the NSE 25. Big names on the Nairobi Securities Exchange had a very big jump on Thursday, and that's quite a very big, the first biggest jump since the start of the week. The GSE, the biggest securities exchange on the African continent, went down, started about 0.5% on the back of the negative sentiments around the developing and emerging markets on Thursday, due to some of the negative sentiments being discussed in Davos by political policymakers, central bank governors, and all of that. It's all a bit of a dampening, as it were, looking for cooperation and discuss and around the world, who is getting more fragmented than ever before. So all that weighed on securities sentiments on Thursday. The BRVM finished 0.06% in the negative 33. Let's just get a few news headlines to get you started on your way for this Friday, as we look at the start of the weekend. Top 4 richest Kenyans own about 333 billion shillings, more than 32 million Kenyans put together. That's according to a new report by Oxfam, which also said that 3 richest billionaires in Nigeria had combined wealth more than 83 million Nigerians. You can read up the rest of that not so exciting report if you're on the other side of the billionaires list, by the way. Uber is back in Tanzania after resolving what you call a commission's face-off or disputes with the authorities. That's now been resolved, and the operations of Uber. You can hail it right. Uber in Tanzania right now. You can try that out in Dar es Salaam. Tanzania is reporting about $63 million in diamond exports for us at the end of November last year, while Uganda gets the IMF $250 million to firm up the country's macroeconomic stability. Let's touch with the folks in West Africa, which includes Nigeria. Africa's debt is not too much, but comprises mostly of short-term tenor, and that was according to Professor Jeffrey Sachs, who is an economist and a director at the Columbia University in the United States. And he was speaking as a guest at the African Macroeconomic Performance and Outlook report, a new report which was released yesterday by the AfDB Group in Abidjan at their headquarters. That report says that Africa's economy will beat the rest of the world 2023 and 2024. A very optimistic report released by Dr. Akinwumi Adesina and the rest of his team in Ivory Coast on Thursday. Good news from the World Economic Forum. The Africa Finance Corporation, which is headquartered in Nigeria, says it's closed about 150 million euros 10-year loan lending facility from the European Development Agency, which is called the DEF, as well as Propaco. That announcement was one of the big news for Africa, looking to ramp up lending to support various infrastructure activities, road, rail, in the energy sector, transportation, logistics across the African continent. And that's one very good news. Ghana's PPI for the month of December came in at about 52.2%, surprisingly sharply lower. What you call the factory gate inflation came down from about 74% in November to 52.2% in the month of December. Let's see what the trend will be moving into the new year, and if that will ultimately impact the headline inflation, what you call the consumer price index, for the struggling Ghanaian economy. And look at him, Fraco Africa says it's investing $1.2 million for Sierra Leone's energy access, while the West Africa Monetary Union Financial Markets Authority is looking to include stock market education in school curriculum. And I say, thumbs up. I'm in support of that. The more we all know, the better we can invest and take advantage across frontier Africa. Let's get to the folks in Southern Africa, and it's been a very nail-biting week on the energy side. That's also because on the back of Eskom, JP Morgan wants investors to buy Eskom bonds before South Africa's budget is released next month. No one's sure how much support will come from the fiscal side for Eskom, so perhaps it's better to hold Eskom shares right now, according to JP Morgan, the US global investment giant, banking giant. They say, look, hold it, buy the bonds of Eskom, you could be in the money. And the country's central bank governor, the SARB governor, Leseja Kegyango, says the central bank or the SARB lacks the tools to create jobs. That was a response from the South Africa's central bank governor to the ANC officials who are asking President Ramaphosa to review the mandate of South Africa's central bank to include job creation, which President Ramaphosa says would take the parliament to approve and will take time. Now the central bank governor himself, Kegyango, says it's not the job of the central bank to create jobs. We don't have the tools to create jobs. The fiscal authorities would have to lead that from the front. In the meantime, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe did a lot of allocations, roughly $37 billion between June of 2020 and December last year in terms of the new weekly FX auction that the central bank in Zimbabwe rolled out just about 2 years ago to try and firm up the local dollar, that's the Zimbabwean dollar, against the US greenback and provide some liquidity into the financial space. That's auction currently on track. And profits forecasts pushed Woolworths shares up yesterday, on Thursday, on the GSE, 52-week high on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And Delta Group in Zimbabwe, which has footprints across the Southern Africa space, including Zimbabwe, Zambia, producing brandy, producing gin, all kind of alcoholic drinks, including beer, reporting 44% uptick in group revenue for the period ended December, and says his outlook for this year is on Zimbabwe's general elections and the country's foreign exchange liquidity crunch. That's the headlines from the Southern Africa space. Let's finish up in North Africa very quickly with the Egyptian authorities looking at a renewed power. India planning to do green hydrogen plants in Egypt, while Russia's central bank has added the Egyptian pound to its basket of currencies. Russia is looking for friends left, right, and center, with the sanctions coming through from United States and Europe in the main against the invasion of Russia in Ukraine. Now, the Russian government has been locked out of the global Euroclear, which is the global gateway for currencies and financial clearing and all of that. So the Egyptian pound has now been added to the basket of currencies in which Russia would want to deal with moving forward. The BMW, that very iconic European automaker, is now putting up an assembly plant in Egypt. I would say congratulations, wish you folks all the best. And Russia is increasing its diesel supplies to Morocco ahead of the EU embargo. That embargo is expected to kick off in the next few days. Just a week or two is that. So ahead of that is dealing more with Morocco. Russia, the Kremlin is scrambling left, right, and center to find friends on the financial system side, currency, payment side, transactions, oil, energy, whatever, because the war is not over yet. Lay back and enjoy the weekend, everyone. We thank you for watching Frontier Opening Bell this Friday, the 28th of January. I am Bosin Amafaye. I wish you all the best and bye for now.